Right guys, so it's time to have a look at the numbers side, where we look at the performance and also the forgiveness between the i230 and the P770. Now, obviously two very, very similar golf clubs and do things in slightly different ways, but performance fairly similar. So let's go have a look and see if any differences that we can see between the two. And let's go see straight away with ball data with the i230 first. This is an average, remember, so when it comes to the speeds, I've dialed them down from my normal sort of like 91, 92 miles an hour to around about the 88 miles an hour or so, because again, when it comes to this kind of level of golf club of where most people, is a generic stereotyping when it comes to who would go for this, not on the full speed bracket, but would be looking at using one of these golf clubs that have got a certain amount of speed. Again, if you're looking at slightly slower speed, you'd be going down like the i525 or the P790 route when it comes to the same manufacturers. So i230 first, ball speed on average 117.1 miles an hour, launching at 21.2, 5,751 RPM a spin, going up at 37 yards in the air and descending at 49.6 degrees. Remember the old stopping power that we like to talk about, control going into a green, and a carry of 164. If you compare that straight away to the P770, you get a ball speed of 116.8, all of 0.3 less. Launching at 21.0 rather than 21.2, so 0.2 of a degree different. Again, both of these got the exactly same loft at 33 degrees, but spinning at 6373 compared to this 5751. So what's that? Nearly 600, 600 RPM difference, which is a difference, definitely is a difference. I mean, we're not, when I've got standard deviation on there for you, everyone to have a look at. However, it is a distinct difference. There is a 600 RPM difference in spin that goes winning, you could say, if more spin is what you want, to the 770. So it's going 37 yards in the air, exactly the same, descending a fraction steeper at 50 degrees rather than 49.6, if 0.4 of a degree, it's going to make all that much difference to you, and carrying at 161, so 3 yards less. So again, let's look at the clubhead data to see what differences there are when it comes to delivery. On average, the i230 89.0 miles an hour. Efficiency, smash factor, basically a measure of bang for your buck, what you get ball speed for whatever clubhead speed you put in. Efficiency of 1.32. 3.2 degrees attack angle down, 0.4 from the inside, 0.4 open, so very, very small, 0-0 delivery. 28.7 degrees aloft, and 2 mil toe, 2 mil low is the average strike. Again, I've got standard deviation. The standard deviation is a measure of variance. And so when you're doing one golf club review, standard deviation isn't that important. But when you're comparing two golf clubs, standard deviation is very important, because why? You've got to make sure, if you're going to critique both golf clubs and say one better at this and better at that, you've got to make sure that you try and hit apples for apples. And that means if you're going to vary, which humans do, you vary in the same amount. And so you're not saying that one golf club is better or worse than another golf club based on not accurate variance. So go straight away to the P770, is 88.5 miles an hour. So I swung half a mile an hour short in speed on the P770 over the 230, so half a miles an hour. Efficiency is 1.32, exactly the same. So it doesn't matter when it comes to clubhead speed, it's more so what happens when you talk about efficiency. If one golf club is more efficient than the other, and you keep strike exactly the same and dynamic loft exactly the same, it doesn't matter about the clubhead speed, you can still work out. Attack angle is 4 degrees down against 3.2, so 0.8 of a degree. 0.4 from the inside, 0.9 open, so within reason, again, 0-0 delivery. 29 degrees of loft rather than 28.7, 0.3 of a degree, and 1 mil toe, 2 mil low, and arguably my standard deviation on that was 4 and 3 mil rather than 4 and 4 mil, so I actually hit the P770 on average slightly better than the i230. So if you go by the graphical representation, you can see there that actually, if anything, you could argue that the i230 is a fraction more consistent with front to back. Left and right is me. When it comes to these things, yes, you can get golf clubs which will help a certain pattern of missing left or missing right. because of centre of gravity, the heads and stuff like that. But when it comes to front to back, now as long as you keep strike within reason the same, and if you look at the picture above there, you can see the strike is very, very close when it comes to the grouping, and arguably the standard deviation on the P770 was better than the i230, yet the i230's dispersion ring is smaller. Okay, it's not very much whatsoever, but it is still there. I would say that the consistency just goes to i230. It goes 3 yards longer, but I did swing half a mile an hour. It's half a mile an hour. So within reason, I would say that if you're going by performance, I would say the i230 does it just, but it's so marginal. It's so marginal that if this was a normal custom fit, I wouldn't necessarily have any strong feelings for the individual going one way or the other. They're both performing very, very well, and if they were making a decision just solely on performance and performance only, I would possibly go i230. But they wouldn't be wrong if they chose P770 for all the other different reasons they want P770. So let's go have a look at some of the forgiveness of differences between these two golf clubs in different parts of the face. We'll go i230 first. We've got a 4mm low, 16mm heel, so a very heely shot. We'll go with that. Club head speed is 89.7 miles an hour, efficiency 1.25. So we've got to be looking at the efficiency numbers now. How much effective drop-off you get. Remember, 1.32 was the average efficiency under normal conditions. It drops down to 1.25 when you have your face slightly open. Yes, that was my fault. I would have loved to have got this delivery exactly where it was, but with the face square, 0, because obviously having a face 2.9 open has taken some of the efficiency away anyway, so I haven't really done my job properly. But 16mm heel is a long way from middle, and it's gone down to 1.25. So it's done okay considering face open, and that's not many millimeters away from a shank. The old hosel rocket that we hate. If we then compare that to the P770, now this was a better delivery, doesn't worry about the speed, efficiency's gone up to 1.27, however, the face is at 0 rather than 3 open, 0.8 open rather than 2.9 open I think it is, yeah, so more than 2 degrees closed than the previous one, so that will gain you efficiency. Also, the strike isn't quite as bad. It's 13mm heel, 3mm low rather than 16mm heel, 4mm low. So arguably, even though by the looks of things the i230 is actually less efficient out of heels, because of the fact that I'm not a robot and I can't hit perfectly bad shots when you're trying to hit, purposely trying to hit heels, purposely trying to hit toes, all these different places. Looking at all the difference, you'd say if there's next to no difference between them, and considering the i230 is 3 degrees open and it was a worse strike, actually it's done very well. So I would say there's next to no difference at all in heel strikes between these two golf clubs. If you then go for say the i230 again, going to an extreme low heel position, which is an interesting one. This is notoriously a terrible part of a golf club to hit. It's the worst part. Okay, very high on the face is the worst one, but this is the normal shots where you'd actually not hit like a massive fat chunky lump out of the ground beforehand. These are the normal kind of shots that you would see day in, day out, where people are hitting golf clubs with the most or least inefficient place, or the least efficient or the most inefficient. Yeah, you kind of get my drift. So low heel, and it's gone to 1.25. That's a very good result from that strike. That's 22 millimeters away gross from middle, and it's low heel, which is horrific. If you travel with a P770 to low toe, so that's okay, more low than toe. 11mm toe, 3mm low. That's 1.28 efficient, which isn't bad. I'll be honest, it's not bad, but it is quite a drop between the 1.32 generalised normal standard. And 11mm is still 11mm. And you do feel 11mm, and you shouldn't really be hitting 11mm low, but we do. Every so often, I'd much rather someone miss 11mm low than 11mm heavy, because you're going to get away with 11mm. It's just going to go to a target. It has done 3.3 yards away from middle. It's done a very good job. If you then move that to i230 slightly low toes, this is 13 toe, 9 low. When you've got the P770 beforehand going a fraction face closed, 0.6, where this one's 1.4 open, and the toe and the low strike is worse. Yeah, so it's 22 millimeters away from middle, as opposed to the previous one was 14. Yet there's only 0.01 difference in efficiency, 1.28 versus 1.27. The i230 is doing very, very well when you start missing either side of middle, because of that tungsten in the tip and also in the toe end section of the i230. With the P770, the tungsten's in the middle, as far as I can, well, again, you'll have to like completely and utterly break open and apart the face. But again, when it comes to P770, P790, very, very similar technology in them. And again, they protecting against lower misses mainly, where the i230 with the same as 525 with the tungsten further away, it's becoming more forgiving off of extreme lateral misses. Still doing well off just normal thins, but yeah, doing well there. Right, if we go to a P770, also 22 mil away from middle, 12 mil, 14 mil toe, 8 mil low, and we have gone to 1.25. So again, you're talking a very similar amount to a i230, but the P770 isn't as forgiving. So you can see there, as soon as you start dropping away laterally, you do get a little bit of a drop off more from a P770. If you go to an i230 on the toe section for a bit of fun, we've got one here, 18 mil toe, 3/4 of an inch away from middle, and an efficiency of 1.29. You put that up against a P770, a 14 mil toe rather than 18 mil toe. And that's quite a big difference. It's only 4 mil, but that's quite a big difference in feel. And it's done it by 0.01. If anything, because of the fact that you've got the 18 mil toe of the i230, if anything, that's winning, because that 4 mil makes a big difference when you're only 14 against 18. It may not sound a lot, but when you start hitting them out that far, it is. And it's done exceptionally, exceptionally well. So, as a conclusion to the difference in forgiveness between the i230 and P770, it is a tight battle, I must admit, it is. I would say if you're missing low on the face, always low on the face, I would say I would go P770. When it comes to any lateral miss you have, heel or toe, because of that tungsten weight is spread further apart when it comes to on i230, the i230 is marginally more forgiving. And when it comes to the normal misses that you're going to have in and around middle, they're both exactly the same. So it all depends really, if you're looking at forgiveness between these two, where do you miss? And if you miss low, P770, if you miss left and right, heel and toe, i230. When it comes to looks and feel, that's really subjective. I would say when it comes to looks, probably the P770 looks a fraction smaller, looks a fraction more bladey. Feel wise though, because of the technology within the head of a P770, the i230 feels a fraction nicer. If feeling nicer means to you softness, if it doesn't and you want that little bit more explosive punch, it's by no means a P790, but the P770 have a slightly higher pitch, a bit more of a punchy feel to it, but that's it. So looks and feel, subjective. Performance, they both do very, very well. i230 marginally has it, and then when it comes to forgiveness, depending on where you hit it, you will be choosing one or the other. So there you go. But I hope you liked the video. If you did, go on thumbs up. YouTube likes it, so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. If you can click that one, that'd be brilliant, because it's great for the channel. And next to it is a little bell icon. That's a notification bell. That will let you know next time I upload another video. So I hope you're well, and we'll see you again soon.